What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So Sarah Boone gets sentenced to life in prison for the murder of George Torres Jr. Now, the judge didn't say anything about parole, so I'm going to assume that she is going to spend the rest of her life in prison. And this is really a case of a needless crime, a crime that never needed to happen. Am I surprised that the judge handed down a life sentence? Well, the judge, I believe, had leeway for, was it 22 years to life? 22 minimum, and then life as the maximum. Anyone correct me if I'm wrong with regards to that. But that's a wide range. Am I surprised that the judge ultimately decided to hand her a life sentence? In my opinion, ever so slightly. I thought that the judge might give her something like 40 years or something within that ilk. I thought that that was a possibility, that maybe 40 years or something along those lines might be what was handed down. But ultimately, a life sentence I can't complain about. I certainly wasn't outraged when I heard that she got a life sentence. The power of the evidence in this case was always going to be hard for Sarah Boone to overcome. And what really is a pivotal moment in this case is Sarah Boone not accepting the plea deal to plead to manslaughter. Had she done that, she would have received 15 years. She'd already served 4 years. And I don't know if the 85% rule for Florida, where she could serve 85% of her sentence, potentially would apply to a manslaughter charge. But if that did apply, potentially she could have been out in less than 10 years or 10 years there or thereabouts. But she opted not to do that. Every defendant has a right to decide whether they're going to plead innocent or guilty. And she chose not to plead to manslaughter, and she decided to take it to trial, and now she has a life sentence. I'm sure at this point, whether she admits it or not, she probably regrets not taking the plea deal offered by the prosecution. But ultimately, a man has lost his life. Rest in peace to George Torres Jr. And it didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. I'm not saying he's perfect. He most certainly wasn't. You know, none of us are. But he didn't deserve that. And there are many, many ways to resolve a situation if you feel that you're being wronged, other than to take it to that level. And I think that something in this case, I think what really played a part in a guilty verdict in this case was the power of the evidence, the video or the videos. I don't think that, you know, the minute those videos were played in the interrogation, as far as I was concerned, any chance of her getting a not guilty verdict taking it to trial was slim to none. But, you know, Sarah Boone, I don't know her personally, but from what I've seen during the trial and during the interrogation and during all the footage I've seen of her, she seems to be a unique individual, I'll put it that way. Someone who maybe doesn't think along the lines of most other people. And because of that, a lot of what unfolded, and even her statements in sentencing were very telling, in my opinion. And I feel that, you know, it's 4 years. You know, it's not a crazy long amount of time for this type of case, but it is a long time, especially for the family. So I hope the family get closure. I hope that everyone who was hurt in this case can start healing. But ultimately, none of it's going to bring George Torres Jr. back. And so Sarah Boone gets sentenced to life. I'm not outraged by that in the slightest. And that is the conclusion of the case, although I'm sure that Sarah Boone is going to be looking at what she can do to counter that with regards to whether it be appeals or notions or motions rather. She might file a motion. I don't know what she's going to do. She's obviously going to look to take, ultimately, she's going to probably look to take steps to counter what has occurred. What those steps are, we'll probably find out in due course. But either way, Sarah Boone sentenced to life in prison. Let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description. With that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. For mortgage advice tailored towards your individual needs, contact PGB Mortgages today. Let them guide you through your home buying journey. Contact details are in the description.